freeze. Don't freeze.
We good?
I think so.
All right.
Okay. We get a drink and then we'll go ahead and get started. We were going to start talking about what was it?
Called it Steve Harrison.
Steve Harrelson. No, that wasn't it.
We were talking. I think that's what we were talking about when you.
What
We're going
else?
to talk about stethoscopes on the show.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll start.
Yeah.
We'll talk about stethoscopes.
Sure, you don't want to talk about Steve Harrelson on the show?
I don't want to give. I'm not saying who I'm voting for, but I don't want to pick sides. I don't want to influence the voters out there that listen to our show. Okay, all the Loudoun County listeners.
Right.
So no, I don't want to talk about Steve Harrelson on the show. Although I think we're live now, so we're talking about Steve Harrelson on the show.
There you go.
There we go. All right, maybe I need to like a fan so it don't get hot or something. Maybe like set it up on top of something.
Fan it constantly.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, I don't know. I'm just paranoid, obviously. Okay, anyways.
All right, let's do it.
Here we go. Hey, Justin.
What's up, man?
Not a whole lot. Just hanging out with my little ninja brothers.
Your little brothers of ninja?
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't know Matthew was a ninja.
Yeah, I also have another brother who's also a ninja.
Yeah.
They're my little ninja brothers. Both
Yeah,
named Matthew, actually. Funny story.
Anyway.
No. This is the Two Dudes in an S podcast, and we are going to be talking about the video game Little Ninja Brothers, as selected. Yeah, they're little itty bitty guys.
No, I'm just saying we're going to talk about the game a little bit. We're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to talk about the game.
We got
a
lots of
little
stuff to talk about tonight. Some of which is Little Ninja Brothers.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
This is a Patreon pick from our good friend Doug, or Douglas. He may like to be called Douglas. I think I've seen it as Douglas. And so we're going to do our best to cover this game.
All right.
But first, I want to talk about stethoscopes.
All right.
So we were talking
waiting to hear
before the show started.
story. Mm-hmm.
You were talking about stethoscope. You think the future of stethoscopes. I can barely say that word. Why do we have to talk about stethoscopes on a show where I have to talk?
Right. No, I'm just saying. So we were talking about ultrasound, and I was saying that the stethoscope in the future will go the way of the dodo. It's not going to be as why listen when you can look is going to be the thought of the future.
Okay. So why listen to the heartbeat when you can look at the heartbeat?
Right.
Okay. All right. So what I was going to tell you is my wife watches Dynasty. I don't know if you remember that show. It's
the new one?
Oh, no. She watches the old one from it's like
really?
the 70s or the 80s or something like that. So she's been watching the old Dynasty. And this woman on Dynasty had this stethoscope that I had never seen before. It was basically, it went in the ears just like a regular stethoscope. But instead of having a little thing that she would put onto their heart, it was this like horn that attached to her head. So whenever she had to listen to the heart, she bent down. Sorry, I went away from the mic, everybody. But she bent down and stuck her stethoscope on the woman's chest with her. It's like her head was on her chest. It was the strangest thing I've ever seen. Have you ever seen one of those?
I have not. Not saying that that's not historically accurate, because it might be. But I've never seen one of those.
Yeah, it's very strange. Kind of blew my mind for a minute.
You know, the original EKG, like, you had to, like, stick your foot in a bucket of water to get it to work.
Really?
So, yeah. Oh. It's something, I don't know, something about the electrical current. I don't know. But you got to stick your foot in a bucket of water or something.
Oh, well, that's pretty wild.
So,
Okay. Well, all right. Though that was my story. Yeah. So we're watching together as a couple. You know, you have to have like one or two shows you watch together. That right now is This Is Us. Just like everybody in America and across the world's watching. And as stated in our Patreon episode that you can listen to now, it's about the episode's technically about Doki Doki Literature Club, but you can listen to us also talk about other things. And in that, I mentioned that I'm watching This Is Us, and I must say that it is terrible. It's a horrible show, and it makes me cry all the time, and I don't like it. But at the same time, I also love it because it's really good.
It's a great show. It's a great show. It's well written, and everybody's, I think a lot of people are hard on it because it's like, oh, it's so sad. It's a sappy show. And yes, it is a sappy show, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it is extremely well written. And there's so many things that like tie in and how they do things. It's like, it's a well written show. It's not just a, sappy drama show. So it's post Super Bowl. We had the Super Bowl episode, and then the Tuesday episode after the Super Bowl.
Spoilers,
and I was like,
because I'm not caught
no spoilers.
Up, and I'd say a lot
no spoilers. There's not going to be any spoilers, but I'm just going to say, so the Super Bowl was supposed to be like this super sad episode, right? Mm-hmm. And for those of you that are caught up, know why. And I was like, after I watched it, I was like, it was a good episode, but like I didn't think it was like anywhere near like the tearjerker that it was going to be. Then the Tuesday episode happened. That's where they hit you. To me, that's where they hit you. So that episode was much more sad than the actual Super Bowl episode.
Jerks. So. Okay. Well, I got that to look forward to then. I just finished about episode 4 or 5 into season 2.
I think it's like 15 on so far in season 2. So you're not too far away. You're not too far away though.
Okay. Well, anyways. All right. We should probably talk about Little Ninja Brothers. You got any history for us?
Yeah, I do. So Little Ninja Brothers was part of the Super Chinese series that was brought to us by Culture Brain. Culture Brain was the developer of this game. They also published this game in North America as well as Japan. Now, Culture Brain made a lot of games, but most of them stayed in Japan. As a matter of fact, only 6 came to the United States. And I'm pretty sure all the games except for one, yeah, that's right. All the games except for one were part of the Super Chinese series. So, in Japan, this game is called Super Chinese 2, but of course, in North America, it was called Little Ninja Brothers. The original game, or the first game in the series, was Super Chinese in Japan, and it was called Kung Fu Heroes. This is the successor to Kung Fu Heroes. It came out 5 years after Kung Fu Heroes comes out.
Nice. Now, let me interject here. When I found that out about the game, and I was super pumped to play this game because Kung Fu Heroes, which we haven't talked about on the show yet, but Kung Fu Heroes was one of my favorite games growing up as far as like 2-player co-op games. I played it all the time. So it got me super pumped to play this game. Now, I'll save the rest of my comments for when we talk about the game, but there's a little preface for me because when I was studying the history in preparation for the show, I found out that they were connected, which it was obvious when I was playing it too, but it just to cement that fact that they were, the history of it actually it's clear that it's that's the games.
So but they it's interesting. They waited 5 years between the original title and the second title to come out, but other Super Chinese 3, which would come out 2 years after this came out in 1989 and came out in 1981, would not be released in North America. It was only released for the Famicom. And the other games that the company brought over to North America were Ninja Boy for Game Boy, which was also part of the Super Chinese
is this a Chinese company?
Series.
It's not, is it?
No, it's a Japanese company. They're based out of Tokyo.
That's what I thought. Is there some? I mean, are the Japanese allowed to just make a bunch of games about the Chinese?
Well, it's interesting, because Japan and China have this kind of rival history, I guess you could say. some things, they have kind of this ugly history of bad wars and some time of enslavement. I think that there was some going on. I don't know. I don't know the full history. I'm not an Asian history buff, but I know just things between China and Japan are like rivalrous, right?
They're tense.
Would you agree with that?
I would say they're a little bit tense.
Yeah, they're a little bit tense. And then this Japanese company makes this game here, and they don't refer to China. They refer to it as Chinaland. But we'll get into that in the gameplay. So anyway, the Game Boy games I thought were a little bit of a tie-in to kind of like how Mario did, and that they called them Ninja Boy and Ninja Boy 2 in the North American titles. But over in Japan, they called them Super Chinese Land and Super Chinese Land 2. So it wasn't, Mario was like Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo or the NES, and then on the Game Boy, they were Super Mario Land, right?
Right.
Just kind of a play on that, I guess.
Maybe.
And they also released Super Ninja Boy for Super NES. And their last game that they actually released, or Culture Brain released for the NES, was a game called Flying Warriors. Or no, Flying Dragon. And that was for the Nintendo 64.
Cool.
So anyway, this game was a mixture of the original Kung Fu Heroes action game, and they actually added into the role-playing aspect of the game to this game that they would carry over to the rest of the Super Chinese series. And there was actually a manga, since we talked about mangas in the last episode. It was the last episode we talked about it, right?
Maybe in the Patreon episode, actually.
Well, yeah, we've talked about mangas
We have
here
talked about
recently.
mangas at some point, yes.
Right. And that's not a female mango. It's a comic book.
How long did it take you to write that joke for the show?
I got a little bit of sleep last night, but I was up most of the night. And it was a manga adaptation of the game. Was serialized in early issues of video game magazine GamePro. So, anyway, that's about it for the history. What have you got for us in the history, or the history of yourself finding this game?
My own personal history. Well,
right.
My personal history does not really involve this game. I did not know this game existed for basically the entire time I've been playing Nintendo. It's really embarrassing, actually, because you would think a guy who used to collect Nintendo games like crazy and loved and was kind of obsessed with the NES didn't even know this game existed. But this is not the first time this has happened to us. But until the show, I didn't think anything about this game. I didn't know about it, and especially knowing, you would think, if I'm a big fan of Kung Fu Heroes, right? You'd think I would have looked it up at some point, or just not been a complete idiot, but I was. So I did not know about this game. We went to do the show. Doug recommended it for us, and this was the first time I even thought to look it up. So I look it up. I'm like, oh, let's see if I can get it. Let's see if I can buy it. No spoilers for the little bit later in the show, but I could not buy it.
Right.
It was a little bit out of my price range. So I did not buy it. I actually just played this one in demo mode.
Yeah. Which it's on the Wii U Virtual Console, so.
Yeah, my Wii U is in the closet collecting dust right now. So. Ever since I got the Switch, I have not touched the Wii U.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, it is on the Virtual Console for anybody out there that's still got a Wii and wants to look it up after we talk about it. But, so. Anyway.
I guess we can talk
so
about
no
the
story.
Game,
yeah, so no story.
Yeah, no story for me. I don't know how I could talk about how I got it. I mean, I could lie as usual, but Yeah,
I thought we had this plan that you're going to start lying.
We had a plan for me to start lying about it, but I guess I just can't do that anymore. Or I guess I can't start yet. I'll get there. Okay, I'll get there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we can talk about this game then.
Okay. If we're going to talk about the game, I've got a really good way to talk about the game, or at least get the conversation flowing.
I know what it is.
Do you?
I do.
It's the manual.
Tell the listener.
It's the manual.
Yeah.
Which, this is a pretty sweet manual. I don't know if you've seen it before. I'll try to show it here.
It's extensive.
Yeah, it is extensive.
Is one word for it.
And it's color. It's got some good drawings in it. Anyways, we'll get to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to start.
The cover I really like.
Yeah. I mean, it's like hand-drawn, and it's in color, and it's very, it's very well done. It's pretty elaborate even, really.
Mm-hmm.
I'm impressed.
Right.
All right. Do you want to hear the story?
Yeah, let's hear the story.
Okay.
There's some good English in here, too.
Yeah. One day, there was an emergency TV broadcast all through Chinaland. I am Blue Boltar, Lord of the Yoma clan. All of you, look at this. What the people saw was that Blue Boltar wound a rope around the Lord of Chinaland, the Emperor of Qing. Woo! Please, someone do something. I'm reading this like I feel like I'm reading this like a third grader. Anyways. Ha! Do something? Chinaland is mine now. Anyone who resists us will be terminated. The people of Chinaland have a serious problem.
Mm-hmm.
They do. Well, that's what it says.
Right.
Meanwhile, on Mount Epen, Jack and Ryu, or Ru, or however you want to say it.
I'm just going to go with Ryu.
Okay, I'm sticking with Ryu, too. We're going to Americanize this.
Right.
I mean, Jack is his brother, so... Right? That's
which is hilarious.
Yeah, Jack.
But anyway.
Yeah. Enthusiastic ninja boys. They saw the broadcast. And they took off on their journey to defeat the Yoma clan and bring a peace back to Chinaland. Not just bring peace. Bring a piece.
We're going to bring a piece. A piece of what?
Well, it's spelled like peace. Peace sign, hippie land. Peace.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's a piece.
Right.
They're going to bring it back to Chinaland. They head towards Yokan, capital of Chinaland. What kind of adventures are awaiting for you at Chinaland?
I like it. I love the next headline to this next page.
Oh, Jack and Ryu's humorous ninja action.
It's hilarious, apparently.
Yeah. Well, this game, let's take a brief moment here and I'm going to describe the game, but I'm also going to mention that this game does not really take itself very seriously.
That's true.
It is kind of a comedy game, also, in a way. This game really, in a lot of ways, I don't watch Dragon Ball Z or anything like that, but in a lot of ways, from what people have told me who have watched it and are big fans of it, this game is basically that. Because it's kind of humorous, but it's actiony, and you're searching for like 7 things to fix the world. Or you know what I'm saying? It's very like Dragon Ball Z like.
Right.
So, there's that. It is, but so the manual's funny. The characters in the game, a lot of them look really funny. But basically what the game is, I want to describe what the game is. So the game is an RPG. It's top down. You're going through, you level up, you go through the game. Just like you would in an RPG, you talk to people, go into towns, buy items, equip items, all the RPG things that you could do, basically. Except when you get into a battle, well, most battles that you get into are not like a basic turn-based RPG. What it turns into is Kung Fu Heroes, basically. So the game Kung Fu Heroes, all of a sudden, when you get into battles, you have to fight enemies, but you can fight them in like an actiony way. So you got a jump and you got an attack button, which is usually just a punch. But sometimes you get like throwing stars and stuff. So most of the fighting sequences are action.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's funny. You know what it kind of reminded me of? When you're like walking through like the overworld stage and you're like going in between towns and stuff, and then you run into a group of bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminded me of Jaws. You know how you're just kind of driving your little ship around. It's like you've hit something.
Yeah.
Like this game is like that. You're just kind of walking around. It's like, oh, you run into some bad guys. Do you want to fight or?
Yeah,
whatever?
Just like Jaws, whenever you do that, it goes to a different scene. You know, like in Jaws, you have to you turn into the swimmer man or whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
But this one, you turn into it and you go back in. You like zoom in even more. It's like the game kind of is like almost like 3 levels of zoom. Like there's an overworld kind of where you're going in between towns, and then there's like you get into the towns, and then you zoom in even more, and you like start fighting the guys. So
yeah, I can see that. The other thing is though, there are some battles in the game, and I think it's mainly just boss battles where it does turn into a turn-based RPG type game where you have to pick attack and all this stuff. So that's pretty cool too. So it actually has both styles of RPG, both an action RPG and a turn-based in the same game. Now, I don't know about you, but the turn-based stuff is where I lost the most. That's where I had the most trouble.
Yeah.
Because the action-y things you can kind of figure out, you know? Once you figure out how to do the action, the combat, you know, you can get pretty good at it, right? But for some reason, for me, the turn-based stuff, oftentimes I would be, it's not, I feel like I'm pretty good at turn-based RPGs, or at least, you know, for the most part, but I felt like the deck was stacked against me almost half the time. Like there was nothing I could do sometimes.
Yeah, and you know, I'm kind of the opposite, is I'm not good at turn-based. I don't know if it's that I'm not good at it, it's just that it doesn't interest me as much. And so it was, you know, very difficult, but I just thought it's because I'm not good at turn-based type of things. They kind of lose my interest after a while. But
I understand.
Yeah. Anyway.
But let me just say, so the premise of the game there, that really hit me as like, this is going to be something I'm going to really enjoy. And I really thought I was going to enjoy it. And I really started playing it. And I don't know if it's just because it was too deep. I just wasn't in the right mood for this game. I really don't know what it was, but there was something that I was just not motivated to play this game. And I could not figure out why, because I love Kung Fu Heroes, right? And maybe there wasn't enough of that. Maybe I don't really know.
Maybe that, but also I would make the argument that this game's an investment. Like this is one where you've got to sit down and play the game and like really kind of spend a lot of time with it. You know, it just seemed like something you can't just sit down and kind of dilly-dally with. You know. You've got to really put in some time to really start to enjoy the game. And that was kind of my take on it. Like, there was so much to it at times. Like, I just kind of felt like, there's too much coming at me right now.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the game also just kind of throws you into it. You know what I mean? Like, it just starts you off. You walk into the town, and you just kind of have to figure out what you're doing. It's an RPG on the NES, and that in and of itself is sometimes a struggle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think everybody can. I don't know if everybody can agree, but I think a lot of people will concur with my statement that NES RPGs had just not really figured it out quite yet. You know what I mean?
Right. But you mentioned the first level.
Did you do this, or is it, you're showing your screen, or did I hit the wrong button?
No, I'm doing this. I'm showing you the screen because I wanted to just bring this up because this really caught my eye. Like when I first started playing this game, and it just cracked me up. I don't know why it cracked me up.
The hotel.
But hotel. It's a hotel.
Yeah.
I don't know why that got me, but I was like, I got to bring this up because it's hilarious.
I was
hotel.
When I saw that too, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, what? And then I was going to bring it up on the show, but then I was afraid because I was afraid I might slip up and not make it family friendly anymore. But because
I just think it's funny because it's like, yeah, there could be a lot of jokes about this, but the funny thing about it to me is like you could just stretch out the sign a little bit and put hotel together, but no.
Yeah, it looked like there was room, to put the all in one.
Right. You got two options here. You can make the font a teensy bit smaller, or just widen the sign out. A bridge too far.
Yeah, sometimes, Hey, I'm not a video game designer, so
it's true.
More power
we don't
to
know.
Those who are.
That could have just. We cannot do that. This game is at capacity. It has to be this way.
This game probably is pretty close to at capacity because it is pretty full.
It probably was.
Now
it's a dense game.
It is a dense game. Now we're talking about how dense this game is, how much of an investment it is, and all this stuff. I cannot imagine. We haven't mentioned this yet. This is a co-op game. You can play this game two-player. Jack and Ryu can both be in the game at the same time. They can both be playing. I cannot imagine. At this age, obviously, there would be no way I would have time to sit with another person and play this game to completion. You know what I mean?
Hey, you guys want to get together this week and play a video game?
You want to get together every night this week after work? And
yeah, by this week I mean this week, this entire week.
Yeah, not like yeah. You guys want to get together one day? Sure, I can do Tuesday or no. I mean like this entire week. We got to get together every night. We'll get off work. We'll order pizza. We'll just play until about midnight every night, and then Saturday we'll play all day. And then if there's still a game left, maybe we can play some on Sunday. It's a huge investment.
Right.
Now, with that being said, if I had
insane.
this game, if Neighbor Kid and I had this game back in the day, I'm sure we would have just ate it up. We would have loved it.
Yeah. I also want to bring up the fact, and this is kind of random in the kind of array of things we're talking about, but the bad guys that you fight in like the Kung Fu Heroes style screen look like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Some of them do look a little bit like Sonic the Hedgehog, which maybe why Douglas likes this game. It feels like he's
you get to beat up Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. Which I can't blame him for that.
Right, that's a pretty good thing. It's pretty sweet. So, yeah. All right, do you want to go back to the manual? We've kind of gotten sidetracked.
Yeah, sorry. Let me go back to the manual here. What were we talking about? Jack and Ryu's humorous ninja action?
Yeah, they're humorous. They're hilarious. Yeah.
Okay, so your main attack is punch. And they're telling you that's your main attack. You can power up your punch, make it more powerful. You can buy things to make it more powerful. I think you can buy and or find in the world. You can also do throwing stars sometimes, which those are cool. You just buy those, find those, whatever. And you can throw stars at people. That's fun. There's also a kick.
That you learn how to do.
Yes. You have to learn how to do the kick.
And that's another whole aspect of this game. There's like a mini game to learn different things.
We do need to talk about that. That is the one part of the game I could not figure anything out. I could not figure out how to.
Yeah.
I just jumped over and over again. How do you walk? Can you walk or run?
Bust balloons. Yeah, and I don't think so. And you just try to bust those balloons, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
Was just kind of.
But it's another part where, okay, if it's a 2-player game, you could potentially have 2 people playing this game, and you're kind of like racing because it puts one person on the top and one person on the bottom, and it's almost like track and field. Remember the game like track and field, or what is it, Summer '92 games or something? You know what I'm talking about? The game that you just tap the buttons and run across the screen, and it puts one person on the top, one person on the bottom. It looks like a race.
Right.
Well, you could do that, but if you don't have 2 people playing, it's almost really pointless. You know what I mean? Because it's just you, and I was just playing by myself, and I wasn't competing against anybody. I can't really lose. All I had to do was just collect the balloons and make it to the end. So
right. Yeah, I didn't really get the. Yeah. It's just kind of a random throw-in part of the game too. I
guess just to mix
didn't really
it up,
like that,
but I didn't really enjoy it myself. That part of the game.
Yeah.
I appreciate the effort, but for me, it was a little bit strange.
Yeah, it was just
not to mention the fact that I couldn't figure out what I was doing, which never helps for me. If I can't figure out what I'm doing, it's always frustrating.
Right. Yeah, but anyway, so.
Yeah. Okay. So there are also swords and shields in this game that you can buy and equip.
Wait. And there's also, you can fight with invincible balls. Do you notice this little gem?
I see that. Fight with invincible balls.
Yeah.
You have to collect the M marks.
Yeah. Then you get invincible balls.
Yeah. Invincible balls. Yeah. I don't have a good joke. I was trying to think of a good joke, good clean joke for
it's
that.
It's a joke in and of itself.
Yeah. I mean, they know invincible balls.
Right.
When I first read it, I thought it was invisible balls.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's kind of when, if it's really cold.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. That's all I got. That's the only joke I got.
Well, your joke was better than mine. Anyway.
All right. So, another aspect is the Dragon Kick, in which you buy from Kmart. No, you have to get the K-Marks.
Right.
You have to get the K-Marks.
Right, which is what most people in this area would call Kmart anyway. So,
if it still existed.
Right.
Which it most certainly
That's what
does
they'd call it.
Around here.
Right. I feel like Sweetwater had like the last one ever, like in the country.
May have.
Because it only closed like a year ago. Huh?
Yeah, it was. I said it was there for a long time. What is there now?
Right. A Rural King, whatever that is.
I never heard of it.
I don't know. Yeah. So.
Hey,
I think it's like a Tractor Supply kind of a place.
Oh, I see. Oh wait, I know what that is. Yeah, somebody at work was telling me about that. Actually, this is really neat.
Yeah.
You can kind of buy just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I got a tangent real quick because I was thinking about this because we were talking about Kmart, and it went downhill and it closed and everything. So I went to Ohio on a business trip.
Mm-hmm.
It was a one day trip. It was terrible because it was like basically a 5-hour drive to and then 5-hour drive back from. And it was all through Kentucky, which if you live in Kentucky out there in the internet world, listen to this podcast, I'm sorry. But that is one of the most boring states to drive through.
It's a rough drive.
But anyways, that's all beside the point. What I was getting at is I stopped at Steak and Shake on my way back home. And I was super pumped because it's been a long time since I had Steak and Shake.
Mm-hmm.
And I love some Steak and Shake. A nice steak burger and a milkshake.
Oh, man. It's great.
Nothing better, right? Okay, so the worst thing in the world, though, is dreaming about the Steak and Shake, remembering how delicious it was last time you had it, and then getting a terrible Steak and Shake.
Oh.
Like a watery milkshake and just a burger that was nasty. The burger was fine, but like the toast was stale.
Yeah.
It was the worst.
I I've eaten a lot of Steak and Shakes over the past few months. This traveling, for some reason, I always just kind of get magnet. There's like a magnet that draws me to Steak and Shakes. So
Yeah.
I have eaten it at a few.
Well, here's why I think it's good, because you can eat it while driving, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can eat the burger while you drive, and then you have a milkshake to travel with you for like another 20, 25 minutes on your drive, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what's so great about Steak and Shake on the road, but it only works if it's a good Steak and Shake, which I don't know if it was the Steak and Shake itself or it's just Steak and Shake in general. I'm assuming it was just that one I went to.
I think it's just the one because the few times I've been here recently, it's been delicious.
Okay, so again, all our friends out there in Kentucky, sorry, but you need to get your Steak and Shakes in order.
Kentucky's one of those weird states. Is like you just got like two cities, it seems like, and that's about it. Like everything else is just very rural and nothing. Which I'm sure people say that about Tennessee too, though.
Yeah, well, Tennessee is that way. We're actually a lot like Kentucky, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we're pretty much the same.
We're long, and we only have a few cities.
Yeah.
Split it up.
Right.
And we've got Knoxville, Nashville, Memphis, and Chattanooga. And that's it. There's 4 in the state. And you can almost put Knoxville and Chattanooga together because they're like an hour and a half apart.
Yeah. Right.
So really, you've only got 3. And nobody goes to Memphis because it's too far away.
Right.
So you got Nashville and Knoxville, basically.
Yeah, and then you got, well, in Kentucky, you got Lexington and Louisville. And they're only like an hour and a half apart from each other. So
I'd say that's 1.
Yeah, and then you got like I think Bowling Green's kind of a bigger city. I've never been there.
No, we're not going to count Bowling Green.
You don't like Bowling Green?
I don't know. I've never been there. Never had a reason to.
You just don't want to count it.
Yeah, well, if it's a place that I don't have a reason to go to, then it doesn't count for me.
Didn't you go to Lexington to judge horses or something one time? Where was that? You went somewhere to judge horses. I went somewhere
to judge horses, yeah. I think it was just Murfreesboro, actually. I think it was Tennessee. Okay. Yeah, yeah. If we haven't ever revealed that on the show, I was a horse judge at one point in time.
And I was a dairy cow judge.
And Justin was a dairy cow judge. Welcome to Podunk, Tennessee.
Right. So
home with the 2 farm animal judges and the 2 dudes in this podcast.
It's it was kind of like it was almost on a whim too, like the horse judging. The cow and my dairy cow judging was just like, yeah, why not? I'll do the dairy cow judging.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm thinking of all the things. All these things are coming back to me. Things that you and I did on a whim. Okay, in high school, mainly because of what is it? Not FFA. Not FFA.
Yeah, that's what it's called. FFA.
Oh, FFA. Okay, yeah. So, on a whim, I was a horse judge. You were a dairy cow judge. We got pesticide certified.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of really strange things. Cow patty bingo.
Oh, cow patty bingo. Forgot about that. I got a jacket because of that.
Oh, yeah? Because you raised enough money to get a jacket?
Mm-hmm.
You got the purple jacket?
I do. I don't know where it is. I think it's at my dad's. It wouldn't fit me at all now. But
it would go really nice with that Steve Harrelson shirt.
Yeah, it would. Well, what's funny is here I come to go dairy cow judging, and I'm no expert on dairy cows, and not only do you have like a limited amount of time, and I'm sure horse judging was similar, because I think you told me about it, but it's like you had to look at the cow's udders, and then you focused on the udders. You had to look at the whole cow, but the udders was the big part. And then you had to like look at 4 cows, and then you had to stand in front of a judge with your hands behind your back so you can't see any notes and rank them and tell them why you think this cow was better than this cow. And you had to look, and I had use the word teat way too many times. I used up my lifetime quota of teat in that setting.
Nice. See, the horse judging is pretty similar. We didn't actually get to walk around and get close to the horses, though. I guess because they're afraid horses are too wild for people. So we just sat in the bleachers and watched these horses like trot by. They did like 2 or 3 laps. There's about 4 horses, same as you. And so before, we were supposed to learn these things about horses that you're supposed to look out for, you know. And so I definitely did not. But I did learn one thing that I could use for the judges, because I had to do the same thing. I had to go in front of these judges, talk about these horses. By the way, side note, I hate horses. I don't even like horses.
Never owned a horse in your life.
I've never owned a horse. I've rode a horse maybe twice, and one of those 2 times I got bucked off. I've also been bit by a horse like 3 times, so they don't like me either.
Right.
Anyway,
they've judged you poorly.
Trust me, I've been judged by horses. So that was the whole reason I signed up to be a horse judge. I want to judge them back.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, yeah, so I had to do all that same stuff too, and I'm pretty sure I used the word withers, just like you used teat. Yours was more fun than mine, because mine was just withers. I had to talk about withers over and over again.
Right.
Which I still know what withers are, so I learned something.
I still know kind of like, what to look for in teats.
What a teat is, yeah.
And you gotta like look for how they're pointing, and you want them pointing out, not in, but not pointing out too much. And of course, you make sure they're not dried and cracked. And
did you have to like touch them and stuff?
No, you couldn't get close enough to touch the cows. Like you had to be like, there was even like a limit of like how close you could get, and it was like 15 feet or something.
I see.
So, yeah.
Long story short, I lost the horse judging competition.
Yeah. I don't even think they told us where I ranked. They're just like,
like, where was it that I ranked, guys? Was I in like top 10 and the judges are like, what's your name? Did you participate?
We didn't even mark you.
We didn't even. I don't even think we wrote your name down.
Yeah. Oh man.
Anyways, how about some Little Ninja Brothers?
All right.
So we were talking before we got off on a major tangent. There, we were talking about the training. Okay, so let's talk about another thing about this game: the password. There is a password system.
There is a password system.
Is helpful so that you don't have to leave the game on, but I would have really, really liked a save feature, which bonus demo mode automatically has a save feature, quote unquote, right?
Right.
Which I definitely used. But the game as is has really long passwords like you would expect a game like this to have, but no
like
battery
super
backup save. Oh yeah, they're really well. It has a ton of data it has to save about your characters.
Right.
So yeah, the passwords are really long. I'm trying to think of what other games there are that are like this. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but they're on the level of like River City Ransom. They're long.
So yeah, that would have been a pain to kind of keep up with these passwords. So I'm going to look up a password here just to give you. I don't remember how many characters they are, but I'm going to.
Oh, they're at least like 15 or 20 characters long.
Yeah.
What is nice, though, okay, so there's a password system, right? Well, when playing a 2-player game, you may be concerned, okay, can I switch back and forth between 1-player, 2-player? How does that work with the leveling up of the characters and stuff? Well, the way the game works is they're brothers, so they level up together. They're always the same.
Right.
When you enter the password, it's just one password works for both. So, like, even if, say, I think the first player is Jack. So if your first player is Jack and the second player is Ryu. So let's say you play halfway through the game as Jack, and then your buddy comes over and you want to play 2-player. I'm pretty sure, if somebody tries this and gets mad at me, I'm sorry, but I'm almost 100% positive that you can start playing 2-player, bring Ryu in as 2-player, enter the password that you had for Jack, and start where you were as Jack and start playing 2-player. Which is super nice if you're wanting to play 2-player and don't want to play through the entire game 2-player. As we mentioned earlier, that would be a nightmare at this age, but maybe not so as
Sound-
good.
Sounds like it should make sense.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the way it works. I was trying to find if it said so in the manual here. Since I didn't actually get to play 2-player, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it works.
Right.
So I'm thinking here, and I know there's at least one listener out there, one dude, in fact, who's been on the show, and one of the sole purposes of him collecting and playing these old games is to collect and play them with his kid. So I'm thinking of you, dude, Drew Bacco. So this might be the kind of game that you could play with your kid. You know what I mean? I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I don't have a kid. Did I say you know what I mean too much?
No.
You know what I mean.
You just said it once, but I like the way you said it.
Okay, thanks. I always worry that I have like a catchphrase or something, and somebody's going to notice it. You know what I mean? I just did it again.
Right.
I guess that's it.
Accidental catchphrase.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. Know what I mean?
Right.
That was already somebody else's catchphrase, though.
Know what I mean, man? Who was that? Know what I mean?
Oh, it's Ernest. What know what I mean, Vern?
Oh yeah, Ernest P. Worrell.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Jim Varney, man, Jim Varney. You know, Jim Varney hated that character.
That was. What else did he do?
Well, he was like a Shakespearean actor,
Oh, really?
and he really took acting seriously, but he got cast in these earnest roles, and so that's all anybody ever recognized him as was like this dumb hick, and he hated it.
Wow. That would be
He was
frustrating.
apparently like a pretty smart guy, and but anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
And he died really young too because he smoked.
Oh, really? Smoking kills you?
Hard to believe, but yeah.
Some people, I guess. Some people.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yeah.
so I
Anyway.
want to talk about a couple more things I really liked about this game. I really liked the character designs, like the bad guys and the main characters, and pretty much I like the townspeople, the mentor guy. I liked them all. I thought it was really cool the way they had like the little pictures on there when you talk to them. They were like hand-drawn pictures. They made faces sometimes. I thought the characterization in this game was really cool.
Yeah, they're all right. I guess the graphics overall, I wasn't going to give that great of a review for. I didn't really care for them that much, but I guess you're right. Yeah, they do there is some things about it that are pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that the graphics overall are great. I think they're serviceable. I think they're pretty good, but I do really like the characters. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I got to give them credit for the characters.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. I'm glad you agree. The story, from what I experienced, is pretty good. I didn't play this. I didn't beat this, unfortunately. I didn't have time. But I did play for a while, and the story is pretty much, I would say that it's kind of mediocre, but that's for me. I think it's got a decent enough story to where, and there's a little bit of comedic value in some of the conversations and the faces that the characters make and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not bad by any means, but it just did not grab me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Which, if you want to talk, going back to the manual, speaking of grab you,
Okay.
if you want to talk to somebody, when you talk to people in the town, cling to the person you wish to talk to. I like that. That's how I'd find people I want to talk to.
Yeah,
Just
you just cling
grab
to 'em. Just grab them. Just hold on. They might get out. They might get away.
Right. So, anyway. Yeah.
What about the music?
It was okay. Again, there was nothing that really stood out about it. Which I guess I think would be my review for the graphics as well. It's just, I don't know.
I did not like the music myself.
Yeah.
And
Did you not?
maybe it's just it's not that it was bad and it fit the game. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of got the...
I found it here nor there.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to say this without sounding offensive. Maybe I should just not say it. But I didn't like the music all that much. I think it was okay. I think it was pretty good for what it was, but it just did not sit with me.
I'm trying to think of how that could be offensive.
I don't know. I just don't know. I'm just afraid to say it. I'm always afraid to say anything anymore.
Right. Got to be careful. That
So
Twitter will get you.
I know. I'll get retweeted. And I
Right.
didn't even type anything. Anyways.
All right.
All right, let me close the manual so I can get back to our main outline here. The manual, I would say that it's probably better than your average manual. And people should go check it out because it's pretty good. All right, let's see. I guess we could probably just go ahead and see what we think about it, whether or not it's worth it. I know there's more to say about this game, and I feel like we're leaving a lot out, but I would just
There's a lot to this game.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
So it'd be kind of hard to cover just about everything, to cover in this game. Yeah. So, we'll go to our is it worth it?
We can go to the is it worth it. I will say, though, regardless of whether it's worth it, I think it's definitely worth giving it a shot in demo mode. I think this is like I said, I didn't even know this game existed. I don't know if you did. I think this is definitely an underappreciated game because I don't ever hear anybody talking about this game. We'll talk about whether or not it's worth the price that it's going for, but it's definitely, I think it's underrated because I don't ever hear anybody talk about it or say glowing things about it or anything. I think it's I think it's just kind of unknown. It's kind of an unknown, decent NES game out there.
Right.
All right. So how much does it go for?
So about the cheapest you're going to find this game used is $50. Yeah. That's the cheapest. So
this is where the hurt comes in. I don't think this game is worth $50 to go buy. It's worth $50 as far as how much gameplay it has. It's worth a full price game because it's got a lot to it, but it's kind of like a mishmash of things that are none of them are perfectly pulled off. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I would never. I mean, if I had a lot of money and I was going to complete my collection, I guess I would pay for it. But just for its sheer gameplay, I'm not paying $50 for it. I'll pay $5 on the Virtual Console for it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth.
It's worth that.
It's worth the $5 to $10 Virtual Console dollars. I guess it's $5, right?
Right. So it's definitely worth that, but not $50.
Yeah. So I would say, like we said, definitely not worth the $50, but definitely.
I guess it's a limited release. Maybe just didn't have it many released.
Well, it was a late release. It came out in the 90s, right? Or 90. Came out in 90.
Right.
So it was kind of a late release. Probably didn't have a lot of copies of it. So there's just probably not very many of them out there. That's probably why it's worth as much as it is. And it's also a pretty good game. That's another thing. Even when there's a few copies, and it's a really crappy game, then not a lot of people. I mean, it's still pricey normally, but it's not that pricey.
Right.
Well, I take that back. I guess Swamp Thing, which is one of the worst games on the NES, is really pricey. So I guess I can't say much. But I'm just saying it helps when the game's pretty good too, because people want it.
Right. Right.
But yeah, so I would say this is definitely, everybody needs to give this game a shot and try to play it. But as far as paying $50 to play it, I don't think I would recommend that unless you're just trying to fill out a collection.
Yeah, demo it or Virtual Console it.
Yep, definitely. All right, retrofitted trophies.
All right, I got a couple.
I've got a couple as well. You want to go first?
Sure. I'm going music themed
Oh, okay.
tonight.
All right.
Just two, and my first one is I'm blue, I'm a D, I'm a da, I'm a D, I'm a. And I don't know the words of the song, but you know the song I'm
I
talking
don't think there
about.
are words, although here's what I've always liked to say, and I used to think is what they said. I thought they said, "I'm blue. If I were green, I would die. If I were green, I would die. If I were green." But that's not what they say. I think they just say mumbo jumbo.
Right.
But I
And
like,
that is Beat the Game.
yeah. When I sing along, I always say, "If I were green, I would die."
Right, right.
So beating the game
And
is "I'm blue, da ba dee da ba da."
yeah, because the bad guy's blue bolster.
Okay, yeah, all right.
So anyway,
Okay, I've got one. It's called "Ludacris Would Be Impressed," and that is "Spend a night in the hotel."
there you go. I like it.
Spend a
Go there
night
and
in
get you
the
some rest.
hotel.
The hotel. My other one is 99 red balloons. And
I
that
like that
is
song.
bust all the balloons in the little bonus stage or where you learn to use the kick and stuff.
Okay, now let me just say that before I give you my last one, because I only had two. Did you just have two? Or
Yeah.
did you got another one? Oh, you got okay. So I wanted to go. I tried really hard to go with a Three Ninjas theme for my retrofitted trophies.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up movie quotes for the Three Ninjas. You know what movie I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right, just make sure. And let me just tell you that the quotes from that movie are so stupid and not funny at all that they would have been the worst. They would have been worse than the trophies I came up with, which are not very
Yeah.
good either. But if I would have forced Three Ninjas quotes into my retrofitted trophies, it would have just been a disaster.
Right.
So Tum Tum would not be impressed. Have you watched that movie since you were a kid?
No, it's on Hulu, and I
Is it
almost
really?
played it today because it's been a rainy day, and we've just been kind of hanging out, and I was gonna introduce my daughters to it, but I didn't. And you saying that all the quotes from that movie are really bad kind of makes me glad I didn't play it.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
Just let that be a happy
Because
memory from my childhood and not.
yeah, don't introduce your daughters to it. Because here's what's going to happen. Here's what I think would happen. If you introduced your daughters to
Mhm.
it, they would like it. And then they would quote it, and you'd have to hear the stupid quotes from that movie all the time.
By the way, I had somebody on my Facebook, one of my Facebook friends actually had like shared this like collection of 90s teen heartthrob pictures and I was like going through them today awkwardly. And it was like Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Ryder Strong and a bunch of like other guys from those like that group like posing. It was hilarious to look at that. But anyway, I digress.
Okay.
Well, can't beat any JTT, man.
No, I mean, if JTT was in this game, then I would totally pay the $50 for it.
Sure,
For
definitely.
sure.
Maybe a little Mark Paul Glossier. How do you
I
ever
think
say
it's
his name?
Is it Gosling? No, that's Ryan
Gosler. It's Gosler. It's
Gosler.
Gosler.
Yeah.
It's Gosler.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Now that we said that, all right. I just realized my next trophy, it has something that we forgot to talk about this in the game. So it's good. The trophies are good for helping us remember things about the game. But my next trophy is Tony Hawk would be impressed, and that is use the skateboard to escape from battle. So you can get a skateboard in the game. I don't know if you did this, Justin. You may not have because you don't really. It's not really something you would necessarily think of doing. But if you buy the skateboard, you can escape from battle, and then you ride a skateboard in like a little side-scrolling thing.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so it is pretty sweet. So if you escape from battle using the skateboard, I had Tony Hawk would be impressed.
You been watching any of the Winter Olympics?
Yeah, I fell asleep to some ice skating last night.
I watched some kind of snowboarding, like downhill thing, which was pretty cool because like the youngest gold medalist ever or something, like a 17-year-old
Mm-hmm.
won.
People eat some weird things. Inspired by the sight of children eating snow, a Romanian scientist studied the safety of the
Alexa,
practice.
stop.
What? How did that happen?
I don't know. She just started talking.
She's talking about Romanians eating snow.
I don't know what that was. I don't even know what she was talking about.
This
She's
is
like, people do some strange things.
This
Like-
is why you should not have an Alexa.
Okay. So anyway, yeah. I don't even know what I was talking about.
Well, you were talking about the youngest snowboarder. And watching
Oh yes, his name's Red, and they were talking about how like you got his name, his first name's Red, and I don't know what his last name is. And then you got Shaun White.
Mm-hmm.
We need some blue guy, right?
Red versus blue.
Red, white, and blue.
Oh, the names. I was just thinking of the red-headed John White. You know, because he's got red hair.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we do need a
No,
blue guy.
red.
White, and blue.
yeah. And
I ruined
yeah,
that. Sorry.
no, you're fine. Red versus blue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, so to bring us back, I got a quick question. Before we go into the game rating, would you like to know what Nick Stevens thought about this game?
No. Moving on.
Moving on.
No, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
Let's see what Nick Stevens thought about it. I may screw this up. Let's see what Nick Stevens thought about this game.
I don't know. I gotta make sure.
Nope, that was wrong.
Was that? Oh,
Hold on. Let's see.
played the wrong voicemail.
Yeah, I played the wrong voicemail. That was somebody else. Let's see. You go ahead and chat me up. Tell me something. Let me see if I can find the right voicemail. Because Nick called in and he wanted to tell us how he felt about this game.
Okay.
And
All right.
I just got to make sure I got the right voicemail here.
All right. So, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of our listeners watched the Falcon Heavy launch by SpaceX the other day. That was pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Now
Did they not put a Tesla into space? Is that what they did?
Yep. Tesla's floating around in space
Yeah.
with a mannequin in it.
Well, here's
Yeah.
my thought. Why is Elon like littering so much?
So apparently when they test rockets like this and they have to like deliver a payload, which would be like in the future it'd be like a satellite or something to put up in space, right?
Yeah.
Or people, for example. But nobody's gonna like put their millions of dollars worth of satellite or people or whatever in a rocket that they don't know it's never been launched. They can't prove that it worked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically the company has to do a test launch to prove that that this is possible. And so in the previous like NASA and stuff, when they do like one of these test launches, they put like a big box of metal or a big concrete block or something in it to like simulate a payload to deliver. And instead of doing that, they're like, well, I just want to put my car in space, is what Elon did. So he put it up there.
That is pretty cool, I guess. So my other question is, so the
Great marketing.
Oh yeah, definitely great he's like a master marketer, right? He may not ever actually deliver on anything he ever does, really, but he can definitely market it.
He said so. Tesla has spent $0, and I saw this just the other day. They spend $0 on marketing a year. So Tesla has this thing where they just don't market. Like they don't do commercials, they don't do anything like that. But now they have like the best car commercial of all time. Their car floating out in space.
Right.
So
that is pretty cool. Now here's another question I've got. All right. So he said that the Falcon Heavy or whatever it's called, was it Falcon Heavy? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. He said the Falcon Heavy was going to be the heaviest payload, whatever rocket But then he also said they've got another even heavier payload rocket that they're working on. So the Falcon Heavy's not
The
actually going to ever
BFR.
do anything.
Well, no, the Falcon Heavy will probably do more than the BFR will do, but the BFR is going to be stuff to like. It's going to probably be able to deliver even larger things out in space.
Okay,
so.
now, but here's another question: is he planning on? Because I know they can land these things. They can shoot them off and land them. Is he thinking of being able to deliver stuff from like one side of the globe to the other, like go up into space, come back down?
I don't know if that's ever
Something
been.
weird like that. Like if he needed to ship a Tesla to China right now, could he fire it off from Florida and like on a rocket and then take it to China?
I don't know if that's ever been proposed, but
well, it sounds like it's time for me to get a job proposing things.
The landing was the coolest part of the whole Falcon Heavy, because the Falcon Heavy has 2 Falcon 9 rockets on the side of it, and then like a large rocket in the middle. The large rocket in the middle was lost; it crashed in the ocean. It didn't land. It didn't stick the landing. But they've landed a lot of Falcon 9s before, so that was pretty routine. It was just 2 of them at the same time. And not only did he do it, but they landed at exactly the same time. Like, I watched it live. It was amazing. And you can watch the video. It's so cool to watch those rockets just sit down on the pads at the same time. And actually, I was watching it live when the big one crashed. It crashed, like, right next to the drone ship out in the ocean. So,
that's good.
it, like... Yeah, they were showing like the live feed, and you're just waiting on it to land, and all of a sudden you just see like this big splash over, and then they cut the feed, so it was like it crashed into the ocean.
Oopsie.
Yeah.
All right, I finally found Nick Stevens' voicemail. Got to pull that.
Okay, let's hear his opinion on this game.
All right, let's see what he has to say.
But this is probably going to be like one of the most infamous sound bites you'll ever have from Nick Stevens, but this is probably one of my favorite games of all time. Like, probably top 10.
Wow. Top 10?
Wow.
You
top
heard it
10.
here first.
Wow.
Nick Stevens says this is probably one of his greatest favorite games of all time. Probably top 10.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I mean, to each his own. But, you know.
Not arguing.
There's a lot of Sega games out there, Nick. I mean, they must be 1 through 9 then, right?
Nah.
For him, I mean.
Yeah. Maybe.
Okay, so how are we going to rate this game?
Knowing
that this is in Nick Stevens' top 10.
Knowing this is a Nick Stevens top 10?
Do you want to rate this as a teen heartthrob?
Ooh, I like Teen Heartthrob.
Okay. All right.
Let's do Teen Heartthrob.
Okay.
Okay.
I got mine.
All right, go ahead.
All right, this is a guy, he's relatively unknown, just as, this game is relatively unknown. His name is Jonathan Jackson. Okay. Now, he was in some stuff, like I think he's in like some soap operas and stuff, and he was in the teen magazine. Amber showed me he was in these teen magazines. But now he's also on the TV show Nashville.
Oh, okay.
So he's still working. He's still doing things. He's okay on Nashville. He's not the best actor on the show. The show itself doesn't have a lot of good actors in it. But, he's okay. He's right in the running. And he also was an unknown heartthrob. So I would say this game, pretty good. It's right in the running to be a pretty good NES game. And it was also relatively unknown. So that's how I'm going to go with it.
Right. Let's see.
You're just looking at all these pictures of the teen heartthrobs, and they've got you speechless.
Yeah. I can't think of this guy's name. I've got a picture of him.
Just show me the picture. I may be able to figure it out.
Joshua Jackson. Okay.
Oh, that was he Dawson's Creek? No.
I think he might have been on Dawson's Creek, but he was Charlie Conway, the captain of the friggin' Mighty Ducks.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And look at that heartthrob there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Look at that. I like that pose he's doing.
But right. But he doesn't get his due. Like he's unheard of too, right?
Yeah, well, unless you watched
He was famous for Mighty Ducks, but not being a heartthrob. Like JTT.
I don't know,
was
man.
famous for being a heartthrob.
Well, yeah. So he wasn't famous for being a heartthrob back in the day. But I'm pretty sure that when he was on Dawson's Creek or whatever it was he was on.
Okay, I'm not counting John.
He was
I'm not
on
counting
there
Dawson's
as
Creek.
a heartthrob. Okay.
I'm not counting Dawson. Ooh, what about Andrew Keegan? Remember this guy?
Oh yeah, I remember.
I'm pretty sure he was. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he was Stephanie Tanner's boyfriend on Full House.
Really? Was he
I'm
the
pretty
guy?
sure.
Was he the guy? That was the high sticking guy? Was he in Mighty Ducks too?
I don't know.
Who was the guy
I
that
don't
had
think so.
the slap shot or whatever? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the guy that was like a punk rocker. That wasn't him though.
Okay, all right.
He was like a punk. He was like a punk. Well, Alexa just made another sound.
She's listening to our entire podcast, but she's only getting one side.
I don't know what's happening.
Ask her to play a train noise, please.
I'm somewhat afraid.
Okay.
Hey Alexa, can you play a train noise?
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Ah, darn. No, I haven't installed. You have to install the app to
Oh,
get
yeah,
a train noise.
All right, that's fine.
Here's my favorite picture. I don't know if you've been able to see any of these, but
JTT with a kitten.
with a cat. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Okay.
Oh man.
So, what have we got? What have we got now? We've rated this game. We've talked about all the good things.
We don't have feedback, right?
I think we do. Did I not post?
I looked it up on Facebook and I couldn't find it.
It's been a while since I posted about it. I've got some voicemails if you want to find it while I play a couple voicemails.
Yeah, go ahead. Because I was like looking at it and I saw Strider, but I didn't, which was, Anyway, go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm going to start actually first. I'm going to do an iTunes review. Okay.
Okay.
This iTunes review comes from Skaltar. He says, "I love tangents. Hello from
There we
Northwest
go.
Alabama. Great podcast. Don't feel bad about that person bashing you for tangents. The tangents are the best part of the podcast to me. LOL, listening to this is like talking about the good old games with friends. I dig it." Of course, I said he. Maybe a she. I don't know. But judging by our general demographic of 95% male, I'm assuming it's he. But thank you, Skaltar.
Yeah, and Chris
Five-
Vanderhoff could stick that in his pipe and smoke it.
That's right. Hey, Chris Vanderhoff, I got 5 stars for you, and you know where to put it.
Oh, here it is. I found it.
He's gonna
Okay.
he's gonna
Anyway,
like
go
the
ahead.
Skaltar's gonna like this episode. Lots of tangents in this one.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so you found the feedback?
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
So Nathan Sweeney said, "Love this game. I sold it years ago and bought it back last year."
Really?
All
Awesome.
right. Yeah. And he
Doug-
says,
Doug may
"Luckily,
have a
I
run-
picked it up."
Doug may have somebody giving a run for his money.
Yeah. He said, "Luckily, I picked it up before it jumped in price too much. So hopefully, didn't pay too much for it." Douglas DeLucky Jr. says, "Most people probably don't know this game. It sells for a lot, though. So the people who know it love it." And Stephen Michael from Facebook said, "I used to have this game when I was a kid. My brother and I used to play it all the time, even though we were not good at it. We did beat it as adults one time, and it was awesome. This is a hidden Meg for the NES." There you go. I like
As
it.
in, does not start with a G.
Right. And Cecil Dredge says, "I don't know too much about this title other than it's a fairly expensive cart nowadays. I'm interested to see what the dudes think about it." There you go.
All right. Not a lot of comments
That's
on
it.
this. I don't know if it's because I posted it at a weird time or just because it's such a rare game.
I think not a lot of people probably knew about it, but the game, I mean.
All right. Well, we got a post from Ryan Ballard. Over
Oh,
on Google
let me
Plus.
see. Google Plus? Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, poor guy Ryan Ballard, you know, he hasn't posted. We haven't had a comment from him in at least a couple of episodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we know why. Here comes Ryan. He says, okay, I'm hoping I caught this one in time. I've been laid up with a broken ankle, and it's thrown off my routine.
No.
Yeah. Back to the point, though. I checked out this game on YouTube, and it looks great. I really appreciate the RPG elements, the bright colors, the ninja theme, and even the catchy soundtrack. I'm betting you guys will rate this one pretty high. I feel like we should have, you know. I still kind of feel bad because this game really should tickle every bone that I have. You know, I like RPGs. I like Kung Fu Heroes. I don't know. It may just hit me at a weird time in life where I was too busy to really dig in. You know what I mean? But I do feel like I should have loved it more than I did, because it really, there's a meaty game here with a lot of interesting elements. But
meat.
I do love some meat. Love me some meat.
Mm-hmm.
I try to eat meat as much as possible. I know that's probably not good for me, but I sure do.
Actually, probably is better for you than like a high carb diet.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get started on that.
Yeah, we can get started on that in another episode. We're going to run long if we start talking about meat versus carbs.
Yeah. Although I am eating Oreos because, well, they're the Team USA Oreos for the Olympics. So that's just patriotic. I have to do that, right?
Yeah. So I say I love meat, which is true. I do love meat. But unfortunately, I also really, really love sweets, and that hurts. So my diet basically consists of like a steak and then maybe 7 or 8 Oreos. So it can't be good for you.
Exactly. That's me too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'll probably die an early death.
Right.
Anyways.
So basically, I eat a lot of fat and a lot of carbs.
A lot of fat and a lot of carbs. I mean, that's like the keto diet, right?
Right.
It's close enough.
Right.
See, I feel like the keto diet, the worst possible thing you can do on a keto diet is also eat carbs, right? So you eat a lot of fat and you eat a lot of carbs, because the point is to
deprive
use
of
the
carbs,
fat
right?
as energy instead of carbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But instead, you have plenty of carbs for energy, but then you also have all this fat that you can store for later. So that's my diet.
I started the keto diet and I've gained 30 pounds.
It's all fat too.
I don't get it. All right.
Here's some voicemails.
Hey dudes Poop here. Listening to your episode Iron Tank, and you're on the cereal tangent. And Michael said there were 3 kinds of people: people that drink the milk, people that don't drink the milk but respect those who do, and people that think drinking the milk is gross. There is a 4th kind of person. My wife is one of these kinds of people. No milk at all. 0 milk. She eats her cereal dry.
What?
So not even when you're eating the cereal normal, no milk at all. Period. Just totally dry, no milk at all. She's the only person that I've ever met or heard of that does, other than kids that are like, 2 years old and just start to learn how to eat. But full-grown adult, no milk at all. So there you go. 4 kinds of people with milk. That's great pod right there. Keep up the great work, dude.
Wow.
Catch you later.
Okay, so Josh's wife eats cereal dry with no cereal. No, I said cereal.
I can't.
What's up with the assistants, man?
I don't know, man. They're all wanting to get involved in the podcast.
That's so weird. Okay, anyways, so Josh's wife eats cereal with no milk. I almost would not even call that cereal, but that is pretty funny.
So my 3-year-old, I've got a funny little tangent here about cereal. So, we do this Lucky Charms Frosted Flakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is the greatest, like probably my new favorite cereal.
Yeah,
by
mine
the
too.
way. Anyway, but she's still at the point where she just likes Lucky Charms for the marshmallows.
Even with the Frosted Flakes in it.
He went to Frosted Flakes.
So she gets Lucky Charms marshmallows, and you get Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, she is like just a machine at picking out those marshmallows, and she will get those marshmallows out of there in like no time and already be done. And then she's like, I need more cereal. And there's like a whole thing of Frosted Flakes here. We're like, eat the Frosted Flakes. He's like, no, I need more cereal.
Oh, that's funny.
So yeah.
Okay. So apparently there's many different types of people that eat cereal.
Yeah.
All right. I got a couple more voicemails. But first, I would like to say, I think I saw, let's see, we're recording this Sunday evening. I don't know when this episode will actually release, probably very soon since we're already late. Sorry for that, everybody. But I think I saw on Facebook, Josh Witt and his wife were celebrating an anniversary. And since he called in about his wife, I guess we should wish them happy 12 years.
Yay!
We'll date this podcast.
Happy anniversary.
Just for Josh, though, because nobody else knows what date it is.
Yeah. All right. Congratulations.
Yeah. Voicemail number 2.
Hey dudes, what's up? It's JZNES, John Zrocklick here, and I saw that you guys were covering Little Ninja Brothers next week, and I think that is a great game, definitely a great co-op game. The RPG elements and the overworld's pretty cool, and then you kind of go into these random battles where it's like, overhead fighting view. I think it's just a really unique game on NES. I've always really wanted to get into it, but none of my friends ever seem to want to play it with me because it takes forever or whatnot. But I think it's really cool how you can do the whole co-op aspect, though. The NES needs more games like that for sure, and there's some other good ones out there. But I just wish that there were more games like that on the NES. And I know you guys probably wouldn't get to play it co-op, but if you ever can, that's the way to do it. So, anyways, I thought it was a great game, and hopefully you guys enjoy it too. So, until next time, Jay-Z out.
Thanks, Jay-Z. I really liked Age to the Izzo. That's a good song.
Yeah, I know. That was a good song.
I really appreciate that he enjoys our show and calls in, too.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm just kidding. John, thanks for the call. Good insight on the game. I wish we could play it co-op, but oh boy, that's a time sink.
Yeah.
We could have played it a little bit, I guess. I should have. Should have dragged Amber in to play it. She would have loved that. All right. Voicemail number 3.
Hey dudes, it's Dude Goosepoop here. I just wanted to tell you guys a quick story. So, when I was about, maybe 10 or 12 years old, for the first time in my life, I went fishing with my dad and my grandpa on my grandpa's boat. And I was afraid because I was a young boy, and I really didn't know what to expect. So we get on the boat, Lake Erie, get all the way out there. It takes about 20 minutes to go all the way out in the middle of nowhere to go fishing, trying to catch walleye and perch, right? So we're finally out there, and I have to go to the bathroom. And young kid, I don't know what to do. Dad, I gotta pee. Looks at me, picks up a Folgers can and hands it to me. What do I do with this? He goes, that's where you go to the bathroom. And that day, I learned that is what you call a pecan. Point of the story, that is a pecan. If you're having a pie, it's a pecan, not a pecan. A pecan is what you use to go to the bathroom on a boat, not a nut that you put into a pie. Other than that, I want to say, keep up the good work. Keep up the great pod. And for me, pecan pie. My mother-in-law makes it. It's wonderful. It's great. She does a great job. But to me, it's just a little bit too sweet. I prefer a really good pumpkin pie. So that's my vote. And that's about it. So remember, the next time you're on a boat and you need to take a leak, that's when you reach for the pecan. Later.
So, 2 things. 1, I guess I played that voicemail way late. My bad, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2, Josh, can you please give us a break?
And next question, or next comment. You're fishing. You're surrounded by water. What are you doing peeing in a can, bro?
Yeah, really. Just pee in the water. It'll
Right,
may even attract some fish.
Exactly. So,
You know,
yeah.
Josh, really, seriously, if you have to pee and you're in the middle of the lake, you can pee in the water. You can. You really can.
Listen to Arnold.
All right.
Arnold
It's
will tell you, be in
C-A-N.
the
That's,
calm.
that's my thing. It's C-A-N, right? How do you say C-A-N? You say can.
Can.
Can. Anyways, sorry. We may just have to agree to disagree on that one, Josh. Okay, I think that's it.
All right.
So I'm glad at this point we've made it through the whole show. My computer only crashed once, and it did so at the very beginning.
So we didn't lose anything.
So we did not lose anything. So that's good. Now, the January Patreon episode, which is out. It's about Doki Doki Literature Club, a game I suggest everybody play. But if you need some convincing, you can always go to patreon.com/NESdudes, donate $1 or more if you feel like donating more, and listen to that episode. Now, on that episode, my computer did crash halfway through in a weird computer taking over the world type of a scenario. And so what I did was I just jammed them two together and put some music in between them, almost like it just happened naturally throughout the flow. It sounds completely unnatural. It sounds terrible for the most part.
Sure.
But it's still a really good episode that people should listen to. It the break, it comes abruptly and it comes out of nowhere, just like the computer crash did. But I got both pieces, and they both are okay, so it works.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So tell them where they can find us and such.
So you can find us on Facebook, Twitter. Join Ryan Ballard over on Google+. You can also go to our website, twodudesinaNest.com, then 10dudes.com or nesdudes.com. And you can always call us and leave us a voicemail at
775-7-RETRO-1. I think that's right.
Okay. I didn't know you were. I was waiting for the numbers, but that's okay. We're good.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. I've completely lost track of what our number actually is. What I recommend people do is go to our website,
Go to the
on a phone, because I know you ain't got a landline that you ain't calling us from a landline. We all know that.
That's right.
Okay,
That's right.
Maybe you're calling us from a payphone. If so, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. But ideally, you're going to be calling us from a cell phone. And so when you do, you just go on the website. There'll be a little phone icon in one of the corners, one of the upper corners. Just tap it, and it'll say, do you want to call this number? That is our number. And then you just call it. All right?
Sweet.
Yeah. So let's see. So what else? Big thank you to the Wee Dude, aka the Wee Guy, on YouTube. He has all these stereoized music. And that's what we use in the show. He doesn't do it for our show, but we've reached out to him. He said we could use it, so we use it on the show. He also has a Twitch channel, which if you're watching us on Twitch right now, I think we're on there. He's on there. He does streams of games and things. His name on there is the Wee Guy _GGG. G as in guy.
Yeah.
Yep. And so you can check him out on there too if you want to. And shout out to the Fox Dude for the super sweet logo. I love our logo.
I know, it's awesome.
And Fox Dude, if you're
Still
still
wear the
listening,
shirt all the time.
if you're still listening and you're feeling good, we still want to do the Goonies 2 episode with you, and we love more logo stuff too because you do some awesome work. And shout out to
we should probably do Silver Surfer, maybe.
Yeah,
sometime.
we did Silver Surfer. That's the lost episode. Hey,
From like 3 years ago.
yeah. You know, we can pretend like we're Adam Carolla here for a minute. You know, maybe we just fly him out and do the show. Fly him out from California and pretend like we make that kind of money.
Right.
No.
Patreon goal. Fly Wee Guy out.
Yeah, Patreon goal. If we can get to, I don't know how much a ticket from California to, or I don't know if he's
And
in
back,
California
yeah.
or Seattle, but he's on the far
Yeah.
far west. I don't know what that ticket would cost, but if we can get up to that
Right.
in a month, we will fly him out.
Yeah. Right.
Which I'm sure that's what $700, $800 maybe. Who knows?
Probably. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I got. Oh, Retro
All right.
Junkies. Everybody go listen to Retro Junkies. Lots of good shows on there. Let me just say, okay, what I'm going to do is we're closing out. You're tired. I'm tired. You can see it in our eyes. But at the end, we always just say, go listen to the Retro Junkies, blah, blah, blah. Instead, I'm going to say, listen to the Retro Junkies, and I'm going to give one show at the end of every episode. I'm going to try to make it a different show
okay.
every episode. But I'm just going to say, listen to the Retro Junkies. You'll find shows like blah, 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 you know. So this week, I'm going to recommend you go listen to Ferg's Atari 2600 podcast. He does it by himself. There's no banter between two people, but it's really good. So it's very informative, and he's been doing it for a long time, and he's gotten really good at talking by himself.
Right.
So that's the one for this week. Next week,
All
or
right.
2 weeks from now, next episode, you'll get another.
Sweet.
Sweet.
All right.
All right.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. All right.